Day 2 of the rookie and quarterback only portion of training camp gave you one thing. Grace Lightning is here today on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom. Nice to see you. It is day 2 of the rookie and QB portion of training camp before the rest of the vets report, and it's been kind of a fun day. We're brought to you today by LinkedIn. They help you get qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster, and they post your job for free. You can do that at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Terms we are going to use today are definitely going to be worth it, including this variation of lightning. This is Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. He's going to give you all the lowdown, the caps, and everything else that you need to know on the business side. Make sure you check out chiefscorner.com, KCChiefscorner.com. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting. I run NFL33.com. Well, you'll see my front office takes here shortly within the next day, as well as RGR Football, where we break down this team even farther. So make sure you like, sub, and hit those spots, as well as this channel, because we are free for you every single day, starting here on YouTube, where you can like and sub, and going out to Spotify, Apple Music, and all the podcast platforms for free. You will have us every single day, plus some. You can even get that much more for breaking news and adjustments. You can get it over at 816-357-8781. That is our insider text line for all of our locos. Our locos are our daily listeners. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you guys making us your first listen. Make sure you go check out another Locked On show for an enemy or a friend or whatever other team you're interested in here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, there's a couple of things that came out today as the rookies are getting all the shine right now that I do want to highlight. Wiley's pride is something we're going to talk about because I think it's very key to what his role will become, not only this season, but in the future. We'll get to that coming up later. What everybody's been waiting for actually happened today. The connection of Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes came to fruition. We're going to talk about what that means and where they're at, given the injury and that kind of thing. But we start today with everybody's favorite newbie. And I think a guy that has really thrown a monkey wrench into the plans of the league, because a lot of the league had opportunities to sign Rees-Zammit, and he wanted to come to Kansas City. He spoke about that today, in that understanding that NFL has been kind of his long-term goal. Yes, he's a rugby player, and he has been, and he grew up in Wales. It's kind of a natural thing. But he's always had this idea, this goal to get to the NFL, and now he's here. Came out today that he actually thinks he's much, much faster than the 4.43 timed speed that we know of. And I find that really intriguing. He claims he can get down into the high 4.2s. And that's got me back on. I wasn't going to go with this nickname, but Grease Lightning sounds about right now, doesn't it?
Sure does. You look at that, and that's going to be very fast. And if you can get a 4.2 guy in the running back room and have multiple 4.2 guys in the receiving room, for that matter, you have a ton of team speed, and it's going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. I don't know how else to do it, but look out. I mean, that's all I would say to the other teams. Now, a couple of other takeaways from him is that he understands he's got to adjust his upright approach. I do think he's made some adjustments here. But the other thing that I found really intriguing in the way that he compared what you have to do in the NFL versus what you have to do in his previous professional sport of rugby. In rugby, you do tackle, but it's bone on bone, he called it. And I think that's a great way to put it, because it changes the way that you go about your job. Until he gets hit and has it to compare, he was very smart in not saying one was tougher than the other. Well done. That was a smart decision there, Lewis. But I'm really intrigued by the fact that he understands that, and he understands angles. He understands guys coming to attack it and wrap up your body, because you have to do that a little bit more in rugby than you do in the NFL these days. It makes me a little bit more comfortable with where he's at, understanding the game that he's going into, than maybe I was a couple of weeks ago. Does it do anything for you, or do you think it's just we got to see it to believe it?
I still think we have to see it to believe it, and I think that we're really not going to know. I mean, he's going to get hit when the pads come on in training camp, but he's not going to get hit like he's going to get hit when he starts playing in the preseason. That's really when you're really going to get hit. Guys are going to be trying to take him down and do that, but they're not going to be going for death blows in training camp. That's not what you do to your teammates. Yes, you try to bring them down, but you're not trying to blow them up. And that's going to change once you get in the preseason, especially considering he's going to be going up probably against the guys that are second and third string that have to make a name for themselves. And it's going to be a little bit of a different situation in that regard.
What I need to see is what the difference is in the way that he prepares to be tackled. There's that old adage about what you do as the ball carrier to prepare for contact. If you go back to the older days, I mean, Tom Rathman was one, he was more of a fullback, but Walter Payton on to Emmett Thomas, on to Barry Sanders always looked to duck contact, right? Because of his stature and everything else. That spin move was deadly, right? Sweetness and Emmett look to take on tacklers, to punish them back, to bring the hit to the tackler. And I don't think that that's something Rees-Zammit's going to be able to do right away. But it certainly is, when I watch some of his rugby films, something that he looked to do in rugby.
Yeah. And the big difference and when you talk about guys that, try to get after the guys that are coming after tackling, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, think about it. You're trying to take the hit to them. You're trying to determine where you're going to get hit, how you're going to get hit, and change the angle a little bit and change maybe where they're going to be able to hit you and take, get hit where you're going to get hit. And what I mean by that is maybe you get a shoulder into them versus them getting a clean shot in their legs, which is a lot different. So, I mean, there's a lot of this that's going to be different for him. And it's going to be a question of, okay, so when he starts to get hit, and I know this happens in rugby with scrums and whatnot, but when he starts to get hit, is he going to be wrapping up the ball and keeping control of the ball? I mean, that's one of those things where you look at NFL defenders and they work on that on a religious basis of ripping at the ball when they're trying to tackle you. And you could have 2 or 3 guys trying to stand you up and another one come in just trying to get the ball out.
Yeah. I'm encouraged because I've seen him do on rugby film that I've seen, not really like lean into it shoulder wise, but give a little bit more body, bring his body to his into contact. He's a speed player, so it's never been a ton, but it's encouraging to me that he's got that aspect. I would encourage him to go back and watch players like Thomas, and in particular, Walter Payton. I think that could be something that's a nice combination for him, but that's just a starting point. When we see it, we will believe it. What we saw today, I definitely believe we're going to see a whole lot more of, and that is 1 p.m. 15 to number one sliding down the field. We're going to get to Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes coming up next.
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP, bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for a job, but might be open to the perfect role in a given month. Over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
You can also get everything you're looking for if you, are especially like me, are sick of listening to shouting heads on national networks like ESPN and CBS. Anywhere else that you get your sports, you can switch over now 24/7. It's free. And we're going to give you Locked On Sports Today with all your local hosts bringing you the biggest stories and not screaming at you. Locked On Sports Today, where you can get it here on YouTube 24/7, anytime you need it, as well as Fire on Amazon Fire TV, that app as well. Here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Every day is something that I would like to see Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy hook up for a nice over-the-top touchdown. That finally happened for the first time in practice today. And I know that sounds silly to some, but that is something that, despite only having rookies in camp, that connection has to flourish with time. And I do think that Hollywood's been spending time with him all summer long. Xavier got to spend a little bit, but until you get the pads on, you start going. This is a great incremental step to get that chemistry down with your quarterback, something that this team is going to have to rely on. And like Patrick said, there's no easing into this. This is, you're going to be part of the offense, go run routes and get after it right now. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, and you look at it, and you're right. It is just something small and simple, and it's just the rookies there. But we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday with Worthy. This is also a time where he needs to be having these types of plays because he's not going to get as many snaps with Mahomes once the veterans show up. He's still going to get some, but he's going to be a second teamer, I would imagine, especially based on the injury issues that he's had. I understand your thought process. Like, it makes sense. Like, you would think first round pick, his skill set, he could come in and step in and play, but they're not just going to give him a job. If he would have been showing in OTAs and all the other practices, he had a better chance of walking into training camp as close to a starter or always getting first rounds or first team snaps. I don't think that's going to be the case, and he's going to have to earn it. He could get some more as training camp goes on if he's able to pass some of the other wide receivers, but I don't think he's going to get a ton of first team snaps early on once the veterans get there.
I think that's a fair point. So make the most of it now. Stay hydrated, stay loose, run a ton of routes. The volume will drop off. But honestly, I think there's a little luck involved here too. For the second day, he's made it through practice. Yesterday was hot. Today was a little bit cooler, as I understand. Good for him for taking advantage. And he doesn't seem to have the Leo thing, the Rashee Rice thing, where he's not able to handle the heat initially. Again, playing in Texas, that gives you an advantage here. So I think he can hit the ground running. And if we can string more days of these back to back to back, I think that shows you that this is as much as we want to talk about feeding Rashee and getting on the page with Hollywood Brown, this is the chemistry that we need to see flourish early in training camp while he's able to be fresh. And hopefully the hamstring is getting better each day.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not saying that he's not going to get snaps. I just don't think he's going to get snaps with Mahomes, and that's the key. The chemistry with Mahomes is going to be something he has to work on. Huh?
Okay, I think he will. It'll be diminished, obviously, but I think that if it's me, I think I jump him right into, as long as he's healthy with the hamstring, in with Justin Watson for that third role. I mean, I think that's a pretty quick rotation right now. We'll see how many reps they give him, and I'm sure somebody will be out there counting. I think I know who he might be, and we'll just have to go over that when we see it.
Yeah, and we'll see. I guess I'm just looking at it from the perspective of he's going to run a lot in the same type of routes that Hollywood Brown is going to run, and I don't think they're going to take Hollywood off the field. So this goes back to what are they going to be doing in training camp and how are they going to be doing it? And, we've talked about situations where Rashee Rice is going to be around, but is he going to be around during the regular season? And you got to prep for all of it. So, I mean, there's going to be questions as to how you're going to get this whole thing to fit together. And I'm sure Andy Reid and the offense have a plan. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just, I hope that he gets more reps with Mahomes than I'm expecting him to early on once the veterans show up. But it's not going to surprise me if he's behind other guys that have been there the whole time, that have been able to practice, and he's having to come along and prove that he should be on the first team. I think that's also something that he should be having to do, because you shouldn't just be given a position or a role just because you're a first round pick. You should have to earn it, especially on a team that's won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
No, I completely agree with you. It shouldn't be given, but I think it's something that will be earned quite quickly with him because of the physical attributes that he brings that Kadarius Toney doesn't, that Sky Moore doesn't, that a number of guys can't. Really interested to see Remigio as well. The acceleration there is going to be key. They have to take advantage early. Vets report on Saturday the 20th. Right now, that forecasted high in St. Joe is 77 degrees. Thank you, weather.com. I appreciate you. I think that this is kismet right now. It doesn't look like it's going to hit 90 until a week later on the next
of course it's not.
Saturday.
Of course, when I'm supposed to be there, it's going to hit 90. I mean, why couldn't it be?
Right,
why
yeah,
couldn't it
that's
wait
exactly
for a
it,
week?
yeah.
So, just throw
You're
that
a
out
sun
there.
magnet. It's perfect.
Yeah, well,
So
better than rain, I suppose. I'll say that.
True. Or getting rained out in particular if they go inside.
That's what I meant.
Again, that just it makes the immediacy of this opportunity for him that much more apparent to me. So he's got to take some pride and get after it. And I think jump into the mix as wholeheartedly as he can. There's another guy that has his whole heart in it, and his pride is actually playing a factor more so than maybe we led on when he first came to this team. We're going to talk about Jared Wiley, what he is bringing to the table coming up next year on the Locked On Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. And every time I get distracted and I'm feeling like I'm not doing the kind of job I need to do compared to XYZ or other podcaster, other dad, whatever it is, whatever role, it can sometimes sap the joy out of what you're doing when you get hit with those kind of thoughts. So I like to concentrate, break it down, take a deep breath, and get back to I'm doing the best thing that's for me in this situation today and for my family and what I'm doing. You can get help with that and making that focus back on what you're trying to do for what you want. You can do that. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. They're entirely online. They are based around your schedule to be convenient, to be flexible, and to be what you're looking for based on your schedule when you are available. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. You're going to get matched with a licensed therapist. Give it a shot. If you want to switch therapists at any time, you can do that for free with no additional charge. Wrapped around your schedule. It's all meant to help you. It's not comparing and it's not focusing on others. You can get what you want to do and start focusing on you with BetterHelp. It's betterhelp.com/lockedon. You can go there today, get 10% off of your first month. That's betterhelp.com/lockedon. Check it out at BetterHelp. Okay. You always get little nuggets, especially from younger guys and pressers in training camp. Nothing earth-shattering today, but the one that stood out to me that I wanted to bring up is we've already got hype going for Jared Wiley, what he's going to be able to do as a third tight end, as possibly a second tight end eventually, what it's going to look like, what the competition is going to be. But here's the thing that I think sets him apart from what we talk about most of the time. And we are focused on the passing game, the offense, because that's what this is. He made a couple of statements today that I really want to point out for the listener who might not get to see it, in that he prides himself on being a complete guy, on doing everything. And the quote that I like the most is he said, I don't care if it's 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 1, I'm not coming off the field. That's the quote of the day for me, in that he's willing to get in there and get nasty and block. He's willing to sacrifice his body against bigger dudes when he has to, because he wants to be on the field. And it's never going to happen all the time with Travis, but that drive is what's going to get him onto the field more.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to need to tone that down just a little bit, because Travis is not going to be coming off the field either. We know how that works. But no, I do love that quote from him. It shows that he wants to be on the field. He wants to be a full-time player. He wants to be a full-time tight end. And, you know, we've talked about this for several years. They need to find a guy that can replace Travis. And obviously he's not going to be a one-to-one replacement for Travis. But if he has that attitude his rookie season, give it 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years, when Travis is ready to hang it up. I don't know how long he's going to continue playing. This is a scenario where you have a guy that could step in that has, as we've talked about, the frame of a tight end 1 in the NFL. He's bigger. He's a little bit bigger than Travis Kelce. He's a little bit faster than Travis Kelce. That's not what makes Travis Kelce great, but there are so many things that he has the ability to do that Wiley has the ability to do that I think are going to be similar to Kelce. And one of the big things that we talked about when he was drafted, he was a former QB. He's going to see the offense differently than just a normal player that has only played that position or something similar his entire career. And then you add into the fact that he's already started watching. He talked about, I believe I did see this. He talked about how he has watched Travis's film, and he watches Travis's film because he sees how Kelce is setting guys up for what he is going to do, and kind of doing a rope-a-dope type thing. And if he can learn that, that's going to help him, and that's going to keep him on the field a lot more. And it will change the Chiefs' offense
you're
too.
Absolutely right. Yeah, for the better, and not just as I don't know. The more that we ramp up, the more we see national media talking about the replacement, the end of the career for Travis Kelce. I don't think that's here. Is he gonna slow down maybe a little bit again? Sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's here.
So I'd rather have two of them.
Right, absolutely. And you want a guy that can step in and give Travis some snaps off. That's what we've been asking for years. Give us somebody that can step in and give Travis Kelce a little bit of a break. And no, he doesn't have to have 1,000 yards, but if he can go in there and take Travis from 85% of the snaps to 70 to 75% of the snaps, that's a huge win for the Chiefs and Travis Kelce in the playoffs and beyond.
Yeah, it'll make a huge difference on the offense as well, because continuity then becomes a weapon for you as much as disguise and diversity becomes for the defense. So having a guy that, if he's on the field with Travis, can stay in and block, or can then go out, split out, and run around, that really adds to the dimensionality of the offense, in my opinion, as well.
Well, yeah, and then if you get to a point where you trust him like he trusts some of the other receivers that he's already had, like Mahomes can trust him like he trusts some of his other receivers, maybe Kelce becomes a decoy at times, and that's fine. Like there are times where Travis knows he's not getting the ball, and he's telling Mahomes to send the ball elsewhere. There is no problem with the ball not always having to go to Travis Kelce, and I don't think he wants the ball to go to him all the time. He wants to win. That's what's important to him, and this is a guy that can help them do that, especially when you start talking about his size in the red zone. I think that could be a lot of fun to watch too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Travis wants. I think he's okay if the ball goes elsewhere. I think he wants to be on the field to help direct that, though. I don't think he likes being on the sideline.
Oh no, absolutely.
The altercation in the Super Bowl proved that. So hey, let's go twin. Let's go 13. The personnel groupings are going to be really something that we track all season, folks, because how and when you use the tight ends and in how many combinations, that's going to become key as we go forward as well. Another couple of guys that are going to play some roles in there are going to be H's. We will continue to look at what that role really is for this team this season. So stay with us. They're going to practice over the weekend. We'll have updates for you as we go if anything major happens. Stay tuned and always be on the lookout for extra bonus content from us during training camp, because there's always something going on. Let us know what you want to see next from this rookie group as they get ready to wrap up their last day before the veterans get here. I'd love to know what your insights are. Leave it in the comments here on YouTube underneath this video, or over on the reviews on Spotify or Apple Music. We appreciate you very much. Chris, anything coming on Chiefs Corner?
Just finishing up the salary cap positions for everybody. I think I have safety. I think I did drop corner on Thursday. I think safety's dropping on Friday, and specialists are dropping on Saturday. That will be the entire team. And that'll give you an idea of what the salary cap numbers are for the entire team. It's actually been a lot of fun to put together, get an idea as to what it's going to cost at all the different position groups for the Chiefs, as opposed to just in total. So I've enjoyed that. And then, I'm going to be looking at doing some different things for training camp. There's always little things that come out. So there will be much more coming.
Okay, rock and roll. Check out NFL33.com, folks, for my front office piece. And then I'm going to drop you something on RGR that's a little bit more around the league as well. Because, some things are just going on in New York that drive me nuts. So you're going to get my commentary on that as well. Make sure that you are with us here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Make sure you're liked. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, as well as checking out another Locked On show for your next listen, whether it is the Giants show with Patricia, or you want to know what's going on in Denver with Cody. Check that out. Denver's going to be an interesting ride for them this year. Lot coming up tomorrow. Practice back at it on Monday as well. make sure that you are with us. We appreciate you spending your time and all your listening moments with us. That text line is 816-357-8781 in case anything breaks over the weekend. Be tuned in.